Hey, welcome to the Chronic Wrestling Addiction Podcast. We're your hosts,
Bubs,
the Monster Chuckanucker, Bradshaw,
and your referee, Kevin Faber.
Before we get into today's episode, we want to remind you guys to head on over to our social media pages and give us a like and a follow.
Alright, we have Isaiah Metituk on the podcast today.
Those of them out there that don't know exactly what it is that you do, let's get you to talk about yourself a little bit here first. So,
I am a professional mixed martial artist out of Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Alright, fighting out at Champions Gym, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Trained by Bill Mahood.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, yes sir.
Heck yeah. So how did you get started with MMA?
Back when I was like 12, 13, I was a real hyperactive little kid, watched a lot of wrestling. One thing led to another. I started with judo, that led to doing jiu-jitsu, which led to boxing, and here I am about to make my pro debut.
Alright. Yeah, you were scheduled to make that this weekend originally, correct?
Yeah, yes sir.
On the 13th or the 14th?
13th, Friday the 13th.
On the 13th.
Yes,
So what happened there?
It was kind of a crazy week actually. My original opponent got injured. I use that term lightly. We got a replacement. Everything was good. And then last Friday at 3, I got a message saying that it's down to 4 fights and we have to postpone the whole card. So, not a great day.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unfortunately for that is downside, because I assume you were pretty prepared for this one there.
It's so cliche, man, but honestly, I was the most ready I've ever been. Straight up.
Off. So, looks like your last fight was back on June 15th for XFFC.
Correct.
Yeah, you were facing Brody.
Brody's Arena, yes sir.
Yeah, win via armbar.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that one overall? Like, going into that one, what was that mindset?
It was a totally different fight, honestly. As me and you were talking off air, I took that fight on literally 14 days notice, so 2 weeks exactly. I wasn't planning on fighting that summer. I was coming up with a tough loss at Nationals, but I fought Brody once already before. I had beaten him once already before. I saw his original opponent dropped out. I was 4 pounds overweight, and I said, what the hell, let's get another Ami fight in, get it to 10, and then make the jump to pro. I felt it was a decent performance overall. I mean, you're never going to be 100% satisfied, but I mean, at the end of the day, I got another win and another finish, and that's really all you can ask for, right?
Fair. So, with that, I've seen that you're currently 6-4-0, correct?
Yeah, 6 wins, 4 losses.
All right. Your first debut there, your debut match there was against Kyle Bareliuk. Probably just butchered his last name.
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
KB.
Yeah,
I mean, for most people that know him, they just call him KB anyway.
So I've heard.
He has a last name.
That's very fair. How'd you feel going into your first fight?
Oh my god, man, just completely different. Like, I watch that fight now and I look at the weigh-in pictures and I see my walkout and just everything, and I can tell how freaking nervous I was compared to now, man. I guess your first time is always the worst time, right? And watching that it's really painful right now, I'll be honest.
Fair enough. So 4 years later, you're feeling a little more confident when you're
yeah, definitely. I mean, my team wouldn't be letting me make the jump to pro and make a run at doing this for a living if I wasn't, a little bit more confident, right? So definitely.
All right. What's the ultimate goal with MMA?
UFC World Champ.
UFC World Champ. You want to be up there? Weight class?
Right now, my last 2 fights have been at 155 just due to circumstance, like short notice. One was a tournament, so it was same day weigh-ins. But other than that, 8 out of my 10 fights have been at 145, and we're looking at dropping to 135.
135. So that's a big cut then, because you were saying there that being at 155 over the last little while, that means now you're going to be cutting about 20 pounds. Or are you still walking around a little bit lighter
about
now?
160. I'm good though. Like, I don't really go off my diet after fights. I mean, you see some guys and they're eating donuts and they're eating pizza and all that crap. And other than maybe having a few drinks, I don't go off my diet. I stay consistent, because consistency at the end of the day is key, right? So.
Yeah. All right. So, with that and being over at Champions, who do you Who there do you primarily work with aside from Mahood? Because I know he runs that, but there's a few different teachers in there.
So I've got Bill Mahood, who oversees everything MMA. He's our MMA coach and an absolute pioneer in Canada. I've got Adam Link, who's my wrestling coach. I've got Randy Mahan as my striking coach. He just retired, so now he's full time into coaching. And then I've got Luis Martinez as my Taekwondo coach. So I've got a really solid team for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Tapology has you listed as number 30 in all of Canada as of right now for your weight class. How's that feel, man? I mean, that's out of 163 fighters in your lightweight division.
At one point I was actually 12th. That was the highest I've ever been ranked. At one point I was actually dead last.
Oof.
Yeah, I think there was 144 and I was 143rd or 144th, which that wasn't too fun. So it's definitely a bit of a turnaround for sure, seeing the numbers change.
That's fair. I mean, and just in this region alone in Western Canada, you're ranked 19th out of 97. I mean, that's a big number of just that 163 as it is. Mm-hmm. Do you have anybody here in this division that you've been looking at trying to get a fight in with?
Everybody, because they're all in my way.
All in your way.
I like it.
Already got the smack talk down. Ready for that, eh?
It's not trash talk, it's truth talk.
Like it. Any hints as to when your next fight might be coming up here?
Springtime. I can't officially say anything yet, but it'll be in the spring. So
hope for the spring. Gonna take the time to make sure you stay in your weight class, keeping things going good, getting the training in hard.
Yeah, 100%. I'm always in the gym, man. I don't even care about Christmas. I just want to fight at this point. Right? It's been too long of a layoff, especially with it being my pro debut. I'm just dying to get in there. So
yeah, I mean with that cancellation, that's kind of got to sting a little bit, eh?
It did, man. I mean, it just lined up so perfect with the having my fight right before Christmas and all that, and getting that first pro win to close out the year. But it is what it is, and it's on to the next, right?
I mean, 2020 better watch out. You're definitely coming 100%. For it there. So with this, I also know that from working with you at different another spot that I was at previously before I was doing this.
Yes.
I know that you also used to be a wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I did want to ask you a couple questions about that.
Do it, 100%.
Growing up, who was your favorite wrestler, man?
Chris Jericho, Y2J.
Heck yeah, yes, another great Canadian right there, tearing it up in AEW, having lots of fun with the guys there.
Yeah.
Chris, if you hear this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to mention you on this. Have you caught anything of what's happening new in wrestling these days?
Yeah, I've been kind of getting into AEW. I fell out of wrestling for a little bit just because, I don't know, WWE was too goofy for me, I guess, for lack of a better term. But AEW is kind of like the Attitude Era. Man, it's just real badass wrestling, and it's cool to see it kind of making a comeback, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been fun. I mean, the three of us are quite often watching it and, putting on the pay-per-views and stuff. I mean, Goosh, not so much. I mean, that's why he's the wonderful addition to the panel who just kind of gets to react to all the funny things and the clips and stuff.
I just bring the weed, dude. That's all I need to do.
I mean, he does.
That's a good friend right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Great commentary, too. You should see it when we get to show him something that is just one of those OMG moments from anywhere else.
I forget, have we shown him the Keith Lee pounce?
Oh, no. I need to show him that at some point. That is for sure. There's got this big guy in NXT. This massive
I know who he is.
Oh, man. Adam Cole coming down the ramp and just Keith Lee pounces on him and knocks him into the third row.
Oh, nice.
Just flying.
No, I did see that one, actually. It was fucking hilarious. Though.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, they've been doing great over on NXT as well.
Yeah,
but
they have.
They're the main products there. A little lackluster from time to time.
Yeah.
But they brought John Morrison back.
I heard. He was kind of that one guy you can never quite get over the hump. I thought he had what it took to be a main eventer, but for whatever reason they didn't quite give him the brass ring, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did end up going and doing the indie scene for a little while there. He's been Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo. Lucha Underground was great for him, and I mean, a rematch between him and Ricochet would be fantastic to watch on WWE's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have you caught any of the Alberta indie scene stuff that's going on for
A
wrestling?
little bit. I know Forest Pro Wrestling is getting decently big here, so that's something I might have to make an appearance at.
Yeah, they're actually looking at making a appearance here, possibly. We're in discussions. I'm trying to get them to come to Grand Prairie. It would be fantastic to have them here as well.
Yeah.
Means I wouldn't have to go as far to ref for them. Being an exclusive ref is annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, right? Being exclusive to anything is annoying, so
Yeah,
there you go.
maybe I'll go chat up the promoter, see what we can do to get you on there.
Yeah, that'd be really good for
Could be
sure.
a fun time,
That'd be
especially
fun.
with the Irish virus making his debut at Clandestine Society. I feel Force should grab him. He's been an MMA fighter out of Saskatoon too. Could be a good time having two of you guys go
Be
for a little bit of a round.
Yeah, man.
There is a couple other promotions that do come here. Oh well, single promotion at the moment, and it sounds like we might be trying to get some more. I don't know if you've seen CWE.
Heard of it.
They came out a few times. I mean, we had another local fighter, Kyle Francotti, come out twice. He just came in, did his thing. I believe Robin Lakeem, though, put him down and cut him open with the chain.
Well,
So
that's
I don't
what
think he's
sounds
going to be
like
coming
Lakeem.
back for a little while. But
Oh, what a shame.
I'll definitely have to get the Belgian Bull on here at some point. We can talk to him about that one because I think he wants to get a piece of him right on back.
I'm sure he's not the only one.
That's fair. I mean, I've heard a couple of the fighters who want him back.
I'd say so. I agree with that statement.
All right, so now I want to talk about some of your influences in MMA.
Definitely.
What fighters were you watching? What inspired you to go into MMA and take this path?
Oh man, I've had so many over the years. Besides everybody I just talked about, like all my coaches and everybody, my favorite is Nick and Nate Diaz, man. 100%. Just no BS, real fighters, straight to the point. They're not in here to be businessmen. They're in here to fight and get paid. And at the end of the day, that's the mindset I love. Is that kill or be killed mindset, right?
Fair enough. I assume that's why that's the goal is the UFC.
100%, man.
Get through
Guys
there
like
at the
Diaz
top.
brothers, Masvidal, right? Just real legit killers.
Fair enough. So here in Grand Prairie, you've had a few different fights,
Yeah.
all under the Champions banner.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. I'm pretty sure they're pretty happy to have you on board then.
But also, right?
So looking over your fights, you've had a couple different canceled bouts. So
Yeah.
after your debut, you had one canceled
Yep.
right away, and then unfortunately your second loss after that.
Yeah, I was actually in Calgary for that camp.
All right.
So,
Another canceled bout. Then 2 wins in a row by unanimous decision.
yep.
So XFFC 13 Future Stars against
Sir.
Jay Carson.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about going into that fight.
That was a revival, man. That was, if I would have lost that fight, I would have retired. I mean, I would have kept training, but I would have been 0-3. Was losing. You know, there's no way I should have ever lost to that kid, which I didn't. But if I would have lost, that would have been it. This was do or die. I didn't get the finish, which I would have liked, but that was a building block, and it started where we're at now. That was my first win. I knew I could hang. I knew I could do this. And that was actually that run, the start of the run that got me my title shot.
Nice, yeah. So he was 0-2 at the time from the look of it.
Who was it?
You were 0-2.
I was 0-2.
He was 0.
Yeah. Yes,
he was
sir.
0-0. All right, so that was his debut there
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah.
And then when you were 1-2, you went against Sheldon Marchand.
Yeah.
At XFFC 14.
Yep.
Decision as well, and that was only 2 months later.
Yeah, that was only 2 months later. True story, I almost died getting weight for that fight. I had a real bad rib injury all camp, so I couldn't train as hard as I would have liked. And I ended up cutting 13 pounds in 4 hours.
Damn.
I had to be carried into the weigh-ins, and I was blacking out. It was the worst experience of my life. I was so messed up from that weight cut. My teammates were telling me to stop talking, like, you're just not making coherent sense.
Damn.
Yeah, that was not fun.
And then you were supposed to fight 3 months later, but that was a canceled bout.
Yeah, yes it was.
I mean, I'm assuming by then you were still probably recovering from that rib injury as well. And
I had a few different injuries at that point, yeah.
all right, and then you went up against Brody Zerini.
Yeah. The first time I fought him, yeah.
Guillotine, 205 round 1.
Yes, sir. My first ever finish.
How was that one going into that one?
That was good, man. That's when it really all started to come together. Went out there, fought him out a little bit, kicked him in the head, and then choked him like 30 seconds later. No, that was one of my favorite fights on my Miami career for sure. That first finish was something special. So.
You went on to fight Dakota Ratan,
Yep.
win via armbar, 49 seconds into round 1.
Yes, sir.
Pretty impressive
Yeah.
with that one.
That got me my title shot, so that was a good night for sure.
Yeah, and then looks like you had a canceled bout right after that.
Yeah, another title fight down in New Brunswick.
And then you went on to XFFC 19, lost via leg kicks.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a fun time on that one.
No, well, my corner. See, it says leg kicks, but my corner called it. Yeah, I don't know, man. There was just so much going into that fight. I think I wasn't focused enough on the fight, if that makes sense. Like I was too focused on, I'm gonna be a champion. I'm gonna be top 5, and there's so many eyes on this fight. Like that was a big fight at the time because I was like number 12 and he was number 8 or something like that. I was 4-2, he was 3-1. Like that was a big fight by Miami standards. Main event, I went from being 0-2 all the way to being 4-2, finishing guys, getting a title fight, and I think I just kind of lost sight of what I was fighting for. And I put a little too much stock into, I'm going to be a champion and all that, instead of just going out there and beating ass like I should have, right?
Just needed to have a little more focus there.
Yeah, I kind of focused too much on the emotional aspect of it, I think. I remember everything that day felt off, like even my walkout. I mean, I touched gloves during the fight, which I never do. Just all this weird little stuff, whereas if I was to fight him again, and I will one of these days, it would be, I'm going out there to take care of business. I'm not going out there to, at the end of the day, I don't care about, who's here, how many eyes are on this fight. I'm out there to win and collect gold and get checks, right? Not to be watched.
Yeah. Well, it looks like right after that, you instantly picked up another win against Connor Krebs.
Yes, sir.
Win via guillotine choke. I was working with you at that point. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
right. I worked that weekend while you went off to go have your fight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That was a good one. I remember, getting you in there and celebrating afterwards and having fun.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, going into that one, you were hyped up. I could see that on you. Well,
I had to bounce back, man. If the title fight was my tequila, that fight was my lime. I had to chase that taste away. It lingered for months.
Yeah. Your fight shortly after that was against Aaron.
So yeah.
At the national championships.
Yep.
Lost via triangle choke. Now I know at that point we were still working together as well. So going into that one, I didn't really see much of a difference.
Not really, man. I mean, nationals was weird because you didn't know who you were fighting till day of, right? So I actually found out through my friend who runs MMA Empire, a local website for MMA that's who I was fighting. I found that out I want to say 3 or 4 hours before. Whereas most fights, at minimum 6 weeks before, right? So it was a bit of a difference for sure. So I Googled him, found out he was like number 2. Surprisingly, I never heard of the guy, which is really rare. But I mean, I went up a weight class. I fought I think he was number 2 or number 3 in Canada at the time. I was actually beating him on the feet, but I'm so instilled to take guys down. I took him down, and he just caught me and put me to sleep. So I can't chalk that one up to anything else than it just being a learning experience as much as it sucked.
Yeah, fair. And then most recently that you have here was back in June.
Yeah.
And that's when you took on Brody again.
Yes, sir.
Win via armbar, minute 6, round 2. Now that was an impressive one. I remember getting to see that clip right away, and I was pretty pumped for you because I mean the way that you had that locked in, your head was on the mat, and you were holding that on while he was standing up.
I was gonna rip that thing off, man. He actually, if you watch it, when he slams me on my head, he locks it in deeper. So it was just a matter of riding it out and getting the W.
Fair enough. I mean, you can when you're taking that chance of slamming a guy that's holding you in one of those, you're taking the chance of it getting locked in real well or getting them off you. It's a 50-50.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen you take some guys down, and I'd say that one was definitely not the smart move for him.
No.
Everybody was pretty pumped about your win on that one because, I mean, as you had mentioned to the boys here who didn't know about it, he was talking a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, it was. It's always more satisfying when they talk shit.
Yeah, and I mean,
and underestimate
two
me.
fights against him, beat him twice.
It's great. I love when people talk and underestimate me, and I just get to go in there and silence him. Man, it's real satisfying for sure.
It definitely seemed like it. You seemed pretty pumped after that one. I saw you out there celebrating, having fun.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we've been through all of your career there, having fun with that bit, aside from, the fact that we do have the canceled bout that was scheduled for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I would have been waiting, getting ready to go to war right about now, which is crazy to think.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that we actually got to have you come sit down tonight, though. I mean, you get to talk about it a bit, and get that off your chest there on that stuff. But I'm going to go back to the wrestling talk for a little bit here while we got some time. So, growing up, you primarily watched WWE, I take it?
I watched WWE. I went through a weird phase in my life where I was into TNA for some reason. But
we all
original TNA was actually decent.
Yeah, it was alright.
It still had AJ, so...
Yeah, they had like AJ, they had Abyss, RVD. It was during that kind of era.
Abyss is backstage WWE now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Did not know that.
That's interesting. I think he's
been
working
just
creative
about
or
a year.
producing.
Nice.
Both,
So
actually.
is he retired then or what?
Who really knows the moment? I mean, for all
He's
we
retired.
know.
He's like 57.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit the Indies recently, too, after TNA,
That doesn't
so...
surprise me, though. But
Could be fun.
Yeah, he went over with Sanjay Dutt.
So do you have a favorite coming out of TNA from the time that you watched?
Ooh, man, that's tough. I was a big Motor City Machine Guns guy.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. They had RVD. He's always been one of my favorites.
RVD is a man that I would love to get to sit down with.
Right?
That would be a fun time.
If there's a list of
Not like
people I
you
would smoke a
remember.
joint with, he's up there for sure. I bet you the stories that guy has.
Yeah,
Just
RVD was absolutely fantastic. It's actually why I learned to do the Rolling Thunder.
Nice.
I had to learn to do it because I'm like, RVD, I gotta steal this someday.
Nice.
So you had TNA there,
Yep.
WWE. Just watching any of the ECW revival that they did in that 06
Little
area,
bit. That was a little before my time. I was also big in Ring of Honor.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor did produce a lot of the guys that came up and
Yes,
have been in both of those companies.
American
and,
Wolves,
New Japan.
Tyler Black, Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
CM Punk come out of there.
Yeah.
Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero.
Chris Hero, yes sir. Kings of
Yeah,
Wrestling.
Ryanson.
Yeah. Brian Danielson.
Something like that.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Man, I love that Ring of Honor still going strong with those boys.
Yeah,
actually,
right?
a couple of the guys that work for Ring of Honor primarily have been on the CWE tours coming through here.
That's mint.
Let's see. Most recently, we had Jimmy Jacobs from
Okay,
TNA.
nice,
He was
yeah.
up here. We had
TK Orion.
TK Orion was coming up. We had the Mecca. He came up, Brian Johnson,
Nice.
number one from Ring of Honor's Future Prospects. Dude hit me in the face.
Nice.
I was reffing that match, and it was a spinning back fist. Still a little mad at
I
him,
didn't
but
think
might
it was
get
a
him
match.
to talk to us. No, of course it wasn't a match. I was a ref. What else would I be doing?
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, obviously, I was just kind of standing there, apparently in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right? That's how I feel most days, so it's alright.
Yeah,
No, that was the right place.
probably.
Yeah, you
I
right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, you enjoyed seeing that? Yeah, you probably did. You had a great view of that.
Screw you guys. At work.
You poor soul. Yeah, he got to
Fucking
see it from like
Vegas
15
night.
feet away.
Oh, nice.
Just see me get a smack in the face. It's fun. We've actually also had a couple WWE legends here.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook and whatnot.
That's been fun. I mean, we had Juventud Guerrera
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I saw that.
He had a fun time getting to talk to the people about Chris Jericho's words from AEW. Yeah,
Nice,
he
nice.
also cut a
I
promo
like
right
that
outside of
jazz.
town and I think he might be sending it to them.
Nice.
I think he's a little mad that they decided to bring him up on national television.
Well, I mean, at least he's getting some relevancy in 2019. So.
Hey man, he's doing amazing in Mexico and throughout the States on the
There you
indie
go.
scene. That's definitely a good thing for him. Same thing with Psychosis.
Yeah.
He was fun to ref for.
Nice.
Of course, I was still so green at the time. Oh, he made fun of me in the ring.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah. So coming up here, we actually have an ECW original coming as well in
Nice.
May. We've got the franchise Shane Douglas.
Yeah, I saw that first ever ECW champ.
Super pumped about that,
That was
man.
wicked. Yeah.
Kind of want to get you out there for that show as well. I
Yeah.
mean, Danny will probably end up listening to this, so I mean, if you hear this, Danny, you know who to contact, and we can get you in touch with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a fun time.
You down for sure.
So, would you be interested at any point, like actually checking out some of the indie shows
Yeah.
here? Like going out, taking a drive to Edmonton, checking out maybe PWA or
Sounds like
something.
a fun road trip for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see people like Sean Spears, currently PWA's Commonwealth champion. I mean, obviously they won't show it on AEW because they don't care. But it's a fun thing to mention because I bet not a lot of people actually pay attention to that outside of Alberta.
Fair point. Right.
Is there any wrestlers that are still around that like really intrigue you aside from Jericho? Anybody that you followed growing up?
I like Bray Wyatt's new gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm really digging that. The Fiend.
The Fiend's
They're
fun
not
time.
butchering the booking too badly of it. I mean,
Give it time. It's WWE.
yeah. I mean, it'll be 6 months before he's dancing in the ring with cheerleaders or something stupid. But for now, they're actually preserving it pretty good because he's
Well, he's dancing in promos.
yeah. But I mean, they're not sacrificing the actual Fiend character yet. Not yet. Give it time. That was
Yeah.
something stupid.
As long as they keep that split right now, or there's the
Yeah,
difference, I'm
yeah.
okay with it. They can bring in the cheerleaders in the Firefly Funhouse. I think
Oh hell
it'd be
yeah,
good.
that would be creepy as hell.
I mean, they got King back too, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, all he's got to
exactly.
sit around doing is yelling, "Look at those puppies!"
yeah.
I'm surprised he still hasn't said it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a little PG still. What did they finally get you to say? Damn.
Oh boy.
Well, they said shit a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sorry. They've said shit. Ooh. Fun times. with
Ooh.
I
that.
bet there's AEW fucking crowds.
Oh,
Just
God,
chanting,
yeah.
fuck you, MJF.
Sounds like they're muting the
Yeah.
crowds and adding them out just because of what they're shouting. I mean,
Oh
checking
no,
out
they were
AEW.
100% chanting "fuck you, MJF." They were slightly late.
Yeah, I mean, he is an amazing heel. Some of these guys still do get to hit up the indies and stuff too, so
Yeah.
it would be wonderful to have some of them come out. They had Joey Ryan. I don't know if you've
Oh
seen him.
yeah. I
Yeah,
know
they had
Joey.
him in Edmonton and Calgary recently.
That's
That was
mint.
fun.
Yeah.
Got to catch him for RCW, see clips of him at least. Force Pro Wrestling was running that weekend, so it was a little busy,
Nice.
reffing for that. All right, so I did want to ask you a couple little things about prepping for fights.
Definitely.
So, what's a big thing for prepping for fights for you?
Mindset.
Mindset.
100%. It takes a little bit to get in the right mindset. It's kind of a up and down, right? It's a bit of a roller coaster. So that's the biggest thing in prep for me is mental. 100%.
All right. How often are you in the gym when you're getting ready for a fight there?
6 days a week, 2 times a day.
Nice.
That's
nice.
and that doesn't really change too much when I'm not fighting. I might cut it down to 5, just because if I'm not fighting, I don't need to kill myself. But I still, like I said earlier, consistency, man. It's
Still
key.
twice a day.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
assuming hitting the
definitely.
gym, hitting the weights, and then going
Yep.
into
And then
champions and
doing
getting
my
the training in there.
boxing or jiu-jitsu or whatever's on the menu that night.
Whatever's on the menu
Yeah.
that night. Yeah, I see they train a lot of different age groups as well. There,
Yep.
there's a couple promising kids in there. I've seen a few
Yeah.
matches from things. I mean, is there anybody that you would say to watch out for?
That whole
Champions?
as cliche as it sounds, man. That whole team of kids is just little killers. Randy's got them working real hard, and it's paying off for sure. Those are the kids that you're gonna be, maybe not all of them, because that's not what all of them want to do. But there's a select few you can tell if they stick with it, those will be like the next Conor McGregor type superstars for sure.
Nice. Randy himself. Tell me a little bit about him. I mean, I've heard a lot about him.
Yeah.
I do want to get him on here at some point.
Definitely.
But I want to hear your point of view. 'Cause I
Yeah,
know you're
Randy and
working
I
too.
are basically like brothers, right? We've been through a lot in this game together. I've helped him get ready for fights. He's helped me. He's been in my corner. It would have been 3 times tomorrow. That's not happening, unfortunately. But now that he's retired, as selfish as it sounds, I get all of his attention, and we're working on some real special stuff for sure.
That's gonna be nice having him and Bill together there for you.
Yeah, definitely. I always say Randy's the best babysitter in the game. He can keep me on track fight week mentally, which is no easy task. So we definitely have a bit of a special relationship for sure.
So, what primarily do you specialize? Would you say, like, which forms going into MMA do you typically work
Snatching
with?
necks and cashing checks, man. That's
A lot
my
of
game.
BJJ. And,
Yeah. That's definitely my game, is taking you down and mauling you. But if anybody thinks I can't strike, they're in for a surprise for sure.
Yeah, because you got that kickboxing and champions as well, and the boxing going on in there.
Yes, sir.
Coaches for that are excellent coaches, and I mean I've seen a lot of their accolades that they have.
Definitely, right?
Definitely up there for trainers. I mean, do you boys got any questions from some of the trainers, maybe some of the things he does prepping for a fight?
So, you said the cutting was really hard too, eh?
I've got it used to be. I've got it down way easier now. Yeah.
What's it like to like actually do the cut? Like, what's the process like?
So the actual process is you diet down to a certain point, and then, just for example, let's say I diet down to 6 pounds out. So I'm 6 pounds out. I'm 24 hours out from weigh-in. At that point, I cut off my water. I cut off my food. I'll try to sweat out a little bit the night of. Maybe I'll go to the sauna, although I'm not too crazy on using the sauna because it is really bad for your brain. And then the day of, wake up around 10, so you got about 6 hours before your weigh-ins, and that's when you're in the tub, you're sweating off your weight, you're doing a taco wrap and towels, trying to sweat it off, and it's not a fun time at all, man. It's really not. It's stupid. I hate that we have to do it. I wish we could all just fight in a natural weight class, but it's part of the game for now. But I think in a few years we'll see same day weigh-ins and guys having to move up, because you can't be cutting 5 pounds in a day and fighting the same day. It's gonna hamper your performance, right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely a bit taxing on the brain to go through all
oh
that.
yeah, and then you got 24 hours to recover, so you got to be on the ball with your recovery. That's it's a real science for sure.
Yeah, definitely got to keep it safe so you don't overdo it there, because you don't want to be sluggish around there. You also don't want to cause any problems with your stomach right after that.
I've seen guys get hospitalized from trying to rehydrate too quickly. So
yeah, definitely got to take your time with that one. Be safe.
Definitely.
That's both taxing on the brain and on the body itself. Cutting off that intake there. So I mean, you said dieting. So what does dieting typically look like for you?
So I do what's called intermittent fasting. So I only eat usually around 6 hours a day. So fast for 18, eat for 6. A little bit depends on my work schedule, because I work rotation. One work I work 6 to 3, and the next is 8 to 5. But usually I don't typically eat my first meal until 12, and then I'll eat my last meal at about 5:30 right before practice. And honestly, I actually feel better. I find the less I eat, I feel better. I feel a little bit more explosive, a bit quicker. So that's something I've really been playing with. And again, as overplayed as I keep saying this, it's consistency, right? I know a lot of guys like to go off the wagon a little bit when they're not fighting, but then that's why you have these ginormous weight cuts.
Yeah,
right?
And consistency is definitely key with this sort of thing, so you can stay fresh and be able to keep
100%.
going.
Well, that's even why I was able to take that fight on 2 weeks' notice, right? I was sticking to my diet. I wasn't going out partying. I wasn't doing any of that. I mean, I stepped on the scale and I was 4 pounds over, right? So it's always keep it within earshot, and that way, especially now being pro, let's say I get to 4-0, 5-0, whatever, UFC or Bellator or whoever comes calling, and it's a 2-week sort of deal, I can do that because I'm in shape and I'm ready, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be the guy that, I've been living on pizza and Budweiser and I can't make weight and I'm not in shape, right?
So is there any guys in, let's go with those promotions, Bellator or UFC, that at this moment you would actually like to, if you had the chance, would like to go on and fight?
I will literally fight anybody, man. I do not care, right? It sounds cliche, but I'm not in this to turn down fights. I'm in this to fight the best, to beat the best, and to get to that level.
That's fair. Do you have a dream fight, though?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Probably Nate Diaz, just because he's my favorite fighter of all time, and it would be real cool to fight somebody I grew up studying a lot of and really looking up to. That would be one of those kind of larger than life moments for sure.
Definitely, that would be super cool. I mean, if you ever do, you got to let me know.
100%,
right?
man. I'll sell at Madison Square Garden if that ever happens.
Well, I mean, with that being said, I feel we've had a pretty good conversation here. We've gotten a good knowledge of you and the things that you're doing, how you're training, and going on there. You definitely seem excited for the chance to get your pro debut here in the future. I'm looking forward to that, and probably get you back on after that as well.
Definitely, yes, sir.
I think that could be a fun time there, and I mean, I wish you luck in the future.
Thank
and
you.
on the note of heading towards UFC or Bellator, that would definitely be a fantastic place to catch you one day.
Yes, sir.
Sitting around with the boys and all of a sudden going, "Hey, we interviewed him."
I used to work with that guy.
Hey. Anything else you guys want to say? Any last questions?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, it was great having you,
Thank you for
man.
having
Thanks
me,
for
Russ.
swinging on
Yes,
by.
sir.
We here at Chronic Wrestling Addiction wanted to thank you for listening. And remember, if you like what you heard, head on over to our pages and give us a follow.